What's up, y'all? For this speaking is actually called 4 Books Every Black Person Should Read Part 2. These are reference books. I'm going to show you 3 books that's actually reference books. If you watched my previous video, you know what I meant pertaining to was a reference book. A reference book that I actually have in my, pretty much on my bookshelf, or pretty much my library, that I actually considered a reference book that I always go to constantly. If I'm looking for a question, I probably check these books first to see that they already answered in these books. I always check, especially because of the book has vast of history pertaining, like vast knowledge pertaining to African history, etc. These are books I actually go to if I'm looking for questions that I want answered, or I'm looking for, like, if I'm working on another future book, whatever like that. I say, oh, what else I want to add to books I'm actually going to be published. I always go to these books. The books is highly recommended. I actually consider, aside from being my reference book, but it's also considered my favorite book. So these books, like, literally my top 10, top 5, the books that I highly recommend everybody, not just to read, but to literally have in your house. So when somebody come to your crib, these the books you need to introduce to them. You know what I mean? Fuck introducing them to a drink, you need to introduce them to a book. Like, introduce them to these books, you know what I mean? This is actually going to be the last of the actual series. I'm going to start with, you watch part 2. This book right here, I'm going to speak about black. On page 107, black stood for excellence. Black was the color of divinity among the pharaohs. Right, that's what pretty much black was. Black was for divinity. So in order to be God, you have to be made black. In order for you to be, that's pretty much what it means. That's why in all ancient civilizations, all of the gods look like Africans, pertaining to their facial features, etc. These are actually one of the references. You watched one of my previous video about the origin of the term black. I actually explained it in that video, but I said I have a lot of books that speaks about the original usage and origin of the words blacks and nigger, which originally was applied, we identify ourselves as that, not white people. The N-word was used in the 1800s when the colonizers started using to identify us as, but we've been with identify ourselves as such in ancient civilization. That's personally what I actually meant, and these are my glasses too, but that's personally what I actually meant pertaining to that. You know what I mean? Literally, aside from that, I'm gonna show you all some books. So when I was talking about this book in part 2, right? These books here I was going to include, but I didn't think I had enough. I think I had enough time, but I'm gonna show you these books. Hopefully, show you these books right now. Now, all 3 of these books is actually my classic reference books. Now, these 3 I'm about to show you right now. Now, all these books really have in common is that they talk about a variety of topics pertaining to, like, African history, African civilization, African contribution to the world, etc. They speak about very depth details pertaining to African history. Aside from that, especially this book right here, which is Retake Your Fame. This book actually speaks about the original meaning and usage of black, including the N-word in this actual book. He also explains that how the Western world changed it and fucked it up and made it to what it is today. He literally actually explains, like, it's very interesting to me. And I have, and like, as more I kept researching, because I question everything, including the word Africa. So when I start researching everything pertaining to, well, people keep saying that, oh, this word is, the N word is bad, we shouldn't say it, or the word black, because this is what it means. No, originally it did not mean that. Originally it actually means pretty much divine, holy, sacred, beautiful. Actually, the word black and the N word is actually literally mean the same shit. Literally, it means the same shit. The N-word and black literally means the same shit. It correlating and meaning the same thing. It literally means the same thing. And more I start reading about it and start looking at it, I said, okay, this is where the Western world literally. So when they pull up to all ancient civilizations, they're like, what the N-word means? God? No, it won't. It means lynch. Nigger means God. It means lynch that nigger. We're gonna lynch his ass, and we're gonna give them. So every single time we see them, every time we harm them, we're gonna call them that word, and it's gonna be installed into them to make them think the word means what they gave us, what it means, and it originally do not mean that at all, including the word black. People act like they try to and put it in their system that black means civilly dead. And I'm like, people, if you do not do your research, you're only applying to the words or practically these symbols of what it means in America and not before it. And that's the reason why we literally stuck in American time, because we believe every single thing it says besides researching the origin, because I don't want to say it like this, but this is so true. They are not known for creating something. They are known for looking at what we create and just slap their face on it. This book right here, highly recommend you copy it. So let me aside from this book, and the other one that I showed you, this book right here, African People's Contribution to World Civilization, Shattering the Myths. Highly recommend you copy this book. Very similar, pretty much what I actually stated prior about. I talked about variety of topics of African civilization, its history, variety of topics, pretty much almost almost everything you even think of about like what Africans contributed or what they did globally. He pretty much talked about it in his actual books. Like he literally spoke about it, he literally pointed out and talked about it literally in his actual books. Now, aside from those three that I actually showed you, because they all pretty much have a lot in common, this book, which is When We Ruled, this book was from Robin Walker, from pretty much When We Ruled from Robin Walker. This is actually one of my favorite books. If you want to know anything about like ancient civilization to like prehistoric, ancient, medieval to modern, this is the book to cop. He literally touched down on so much ancient African kingdoms, dynasties, practically ancient civilizations, which is African civilizations is ancient kingdoms, dynasties, empires. He literally speaks about like a lot about like how they became formed, how they came to be, how they the economy, the trade, and like he literally he covers every single aspect you can think of pertaining to those ancient civilizations, how they became to be, and how they fallen. So he explains it in his actual book right here. I highly recommend you cop it, especially if you want to know like a variety of topics of like African civilizations. I think it's like a encyclopedia of African civilizations, kingdoms, dynasties, empires, like anything you even can think of pertaining to like, besides you reading in like African civilization A through Z, he speaks about it in this book. He speaks about the like African kingdoms and civilizations in this book A through Z, the rise and its fall, how they trade, what they dress, what they eat, like pretty much almost everything you even can think of is literally covered in this actual book. This is actually one of the books I definitely do recommend it if you actually want to get to know like a lot about African history. I do have a lot of books about African kingdoms. I'm looking at them right now. I bought them. And my sister bought 2 of them for my actual birthday, but I haven't get the chance to literally read them yet. But yeah, these are books I actually recommend. That's all I gotta say about that, y'all. Peace.